here is the rule of the international community, mainly the American administration. There is a rift now in the relations between the American administration and the Israeli government. Yet this rift and this disagreement is verbal. Is verbal. Yes, there is a mistrust, but the reservations of the American administration yet are not influential to change the Israeli policy. And if this rift should be influential, there is a pressure to be done, to be put on the Israeli government in order to have a change. If there will not be a pressure on Benjamin Netanyahu, why he should change his policy? He has a coalition, strong coalition, right? The most rightist and extreme coalition ever in the history of Israel. He chose this kind of coalition. Nobody advised him in the States or in Europe, please choose this kind of coalition. He had another choice with Kadima, with Tzipi Livni, but he chose Lieberman and Eli Yishai. Once, in the last 17 years, one American official had a rule. Always when a Palestinian leader or an Arab leader asked the American administration or the American team to put pressure on the Israeli prime minister, this American official always said, no, we can't. You and we should understand the problems in the Israeli coalition. This was the answer for the last 17 years, done by Mr. Dennis Ross. This was his rule, to accommodate all the area to the problems and internal political issues of the government of Israel. Now he is saying the same. He is saying there is a problem in the Israeli coalition because Lieberman is not approving, Eli Yishai is not approving. You know, I can't imagine. Is this the rule of the American administration all the time to ask the Arabs and the Palestinians to accommodate themselves to the coalition of the Israeli government? I am there in the Knesset. I am the deputy speaker of the Knesset. I am a member of the Knesset. I am acting day by day to bring this government down. And Mr. Dennis Ross is asking us, the Arabs and the Palestinians, to try to understand Mr. Netanyahu's problems and coalition. This is ridiculous. This way of action should be changed. And all those figures who were and who are a symbol of the failed past should not be intervening in the so-called new talks and new peace process between Israel and the Palestinians. Because they are Israelis and Americans who are in love with the process, not in the peace, in the process. Dialogue, process. Process, dialogue. Meanwhile, there are more checkpoints, more Palestinians deportations and confiscation of land and separation wall and more loss of hope. And the hope is very important in promoting real dialogue between nations who are willing to have settlement, Israelis and Palestinians. Even the Israeli left was broken. There is no Israeli left today in Israel. You know, in the Knesset there are 120 MKs. No one Israeli Jewish MK is having the only agenda of him anti-occupation agenda. It is our task only. Once in the last Knesset there was Zava Galon, etc. Maybe Yossi Sarid. Now, nobody. That's why we are willing to have much more influential rule by the American administration in two levels. For example, if you are willing to have change in the policy of Mr. Netanyahu, he should pay the price of his rejection of any idea. to promote the peace process. For example, diplomatic level, not to use in automatically the veto in the Security Council, mainly in the issue of settlements. In the economical level, the American administration is saying that they are opposing settlement. I believe that President Barack Obama is opposing settlement. But we should feel tangible steps. For example, why not to prevent merchandise from the settlements from being marketed here in the United States, like in England or Denmark or Sweden, with labels that this merchandise were manufactured in the occupied West Bank or in settlements. It is a simple thing, but it is symbolic in order to tell that you are not only verbally against settlements, but you are removing your cover in the Security Council and saying something about these illegal settlements and its products. I do believe that President Barack Obama can do a lot in order to push this peace process forward. He should do much more. The Cairo speech was the climax. From the Cairo speech, from that point, the confidence in the American administration and in the United States policy in the Middle East declined in a dramatic way. In order to salvate and to rescue this confidence in the American policy, something should be done in order to bring it again to the same level of that speech. Because the Middle East is fed up of speeches and verbal support. We want results. After all these decades of occupation, the Palestinian in Nablus or Bethlehem or Gaza have the right to be free and sovereign, and it is time that this administration, led by President Barack Obama, will be the one to do so. Thank you very much.
Dr. Tibi said he'd be willing to answer some questions, but first let me welcome the ambassador to the United States from the PLO, Mohan Erekat, who may have had to leave early, but welcome, Ambassador Erekat. Please identify yourselves and ask your question. Amy Spitalnik from J Street.
Hi, Amy Spitalnik with J Street, yes. And I think one of the things that particularly concerns the American Jewish community here is this coalition and what we see specifically with the foreign ministry and how they're effectively isolating Israel, not only in the region when it comes to relations with Turkey and other important allies, but also with parts of the American Jewish community here. So I was wondering if you could speak to that, if you see maybe any public backlash in Israel to that, and what's going on in sort of a broader regional capacity as well.
Yes. I am astonished that myself I did not mention Lieberman in my speech, but thank you. Thank you for helping me recalling the issue of the man who is demanding to deport us and to revoke our citizenship in a collective way.